The Marine Toys for Tots foster care program is bringing hope to children who need it most. Every 2 minutes, a child enters foster care, often with only a small bag of belongings. More than 400,000 children face trauma and uncertainty, many before age 8. This May, during Foster Care Awareness Month, Toys for Tots is creating Room for Joy. In 2025, nearly 375,000 children received comfort through toys, books, and essentials, reminding them they are not alone. Donate now and change a child's life.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi. Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
And it's a busy Friday night here on the Rita Cosby Show. President Trump waiting to see if they will get a response from Iran. They said they would do it in the next 24 hours or so, and that was many hours ago. So let's see if they come back and agree to the deal. If not, you can bet President Trump is probably not going to waste much time and maybe, as he said, turn Iran into a big, bright glow. In other words, they will pound the heck out of them. And I frankly think it's probably going to have to take that, but we will see. It could be a busy weekend. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. Also, President Trump releasing the UFO files. There were about 160 sort of different files talking about 400 different encounters. And it was wild because some of them actually seem pretty credible. I mean, it's wild. They're from like Air Force pilots and from some other individuals. Some of them you go, that doesn't look like a UFO. That looks like a submarine sandwich or whatever. But then there's others where it's like, credible people from the military say they saw this, or pilots, astronauts saw certain things that they say they saw near the moon. So it's certainly worth exploring. There certainly seems to be at least a lot more questions. And apparently these files that just came out are just the tip of the iceberg. Supposedly there's a whole bunch more. And this is just a little smidgen of the information. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. And meantime, also the big story tonight are these soft on crime judges. By the way, Sal, I love Sal. He always puts some good messages here on Twitter. You guys know I always look at my tweets, at Rita Cosby on Twitter. And Sal says, Rita, perhaps for the most part, these activist judges and those who favor them think that committing crime is somehow in a form of expression covered by the First Amendment. Sal, that is a doozy. That's a doozy. So I guess they think releasing them, that's some sort of First Amendment expression, just like those who are busing through the barricades in front of the Park East Synagogue. I guess that's a expression of First Amendment. You're right. Doozy, Sal. Very good. Well, I do think there should be some accountability to these folks who clearly crossed the line, whether it's a judge or whether it's a protester out there outside a synagogue. It's not free speech when you're barging through and pushing officers and when you're making others feel threatened, or if you're putting a criminal who never should be out back out on the streets. There's a lot of questions about that tonight. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. And we were talking about Chicago because that seems to be a haven for it. And Sheridan Gorman is the beautiful Loyola University student. Remember, she was out there looking at the Northern Lights with her friends, and suddenly this guy, an illegal immigrant with a criminal past, came upon her and shot her in the back randomly. Then there was a Chicago alderman who came out and said, well, maybe she did something. Maybe she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Well, now Sheridan Gorman's parents are speaking out and saying, that illegal migrant was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And take a listen to what Sheridan Gorman's mother said, because she said right after this horrible incident happened, and by the way, the family's from Westchester, New York. They're from their New York residence, but the daughter was going to university in Loyola, and apparently was a light to everybody, just a beautiful, wonderful woman. And Sheridan Gorman's mother said she was so touched that President Trump called her after the killing of her daughter, that it brought her some relief. Take a listen to what the mother said in an interview this week.
The outpouring of support, love. President Trump called us, and despite what people might think, he did not say one thing political. He just basically held us. His whole team calling out wonderful, supportive things. You know, he spoke to us as a father, as a grandfather. I actually cut him short because it was so emotional. And you know, the heartfelt support. I mean, people say they can see the love in her eyes. I mean, she was so expressive. She sparkled.
We are so sorry for your loss. She was a beautiful, vibrant young woman, and we all wish that we knew her, and we're grateful to you for bringing her into the world, and we wish you all the best, Madeline, in your future, which will be bright, no doubt.
Thank you so much, really.
All the moms and dads out there, give your kids a big hug. Tell them that you love them, because that's the one thing that gives us solace, is knowing that Sheridan knew how much we loved her.
Wow, what a powerful message. And of course, we're going to be thinking of Sheridan Gorman's mom this Mother's Day. What a powerful, powerful message. And her mother also said that she is just shocked at the policies of so many of these sort of left-wing politicians that seem to be putting illegal aliens over American citizens, pleading, saying, choose us, choose American citizens like my daughter, Sheridan Gorman.
When they're naming trucks and laughing and joking, several days after our daughter was murdered, we're waiting in Chicago to claim her body. It was more than infuriating. I don't have the vitriol that I felt was overwhelming. And again, I've never been a person who hates another person. I've never fought with people over politics. I respect everyone's view, everyone's life, and their experiences have shaped how they believe, and I get that. But I want to understand desperately. I don't understand what these politicians are thinking. To me, things like that show that they value these undocumented migrants more than they value our American citizens, our American children. And honestly, you almost want to just make a plea, choose us. Choose my American child. I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight for my child and for yours.
Wow. Choose us. From a mother who has lost so much, the unimaginable Sheridan Gorman's mother, of course, the Loyola University student. And Rod Blagojevich joined us earlier on Katz and Cosby. Of course, he's the former Illinois governor. We were talking with him about this latest case of what happened also in Chicago, of this guy who had 7 priors, and he was out on electronic ankle monitoring. Why was he out? It's just unconscionable. And then he goes to a store, a Dollar General store. He beats the clerk up to a pulp. And then when the cops arrest him for the beating and the robbery, he says that he swallowed some drugs, so they take him to the hospital. Somehow he gets a gun and he opens fire, kills a cop, John Bartholomew, and then his partner is fighting for his life. So kills a cop and seriously, critically injures the other cop. This is just so horrible. And today there was a very powerful funeral for John Bartholomew. Different officers from around the country came out. You know how much I love our men and women in blue. And for me, this is such a powerful, powerful story. When I see that sea of men and women in blue saluting the coffin, I got so choked up. And then when you hear the background of this guy, Alfonso Talley, it just gets you so angry that a judge, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that when a guy has so many priors, he never should have been out on the streets. He had violent priors with like assault and a whole bunch of other stuff, and yet he was able to roam freely to come back to court. Why should the streets have to deal with this guy and this poor officer? Maybe he would be alive if this guy was behind bars. I mean, I think there needs to be some sort of accountability. It's infuriating. And what was even more infuriating, that apparently when this guy got back in court just recently, he was laughing in court when they were reading the charges to him about this latest case. So he gets taken into court and the guy is laughing in court. So much that the judge actually scolded him and said, could you, sir, not laugh in court? You're charged with some extremely serious crimes. Because he's probably just thinking, I'll get back out. I mean, that is just, it gets me so angry tonight to hear that. And here is former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich with his take on what's gone so horribly wrong in Chicago.
Well, this is the result of the Democratic leadership in Illinois these days. It wasn't like that when I was governor. But this is Governor Pritzker and Mayor Johnson, and before that, Lori Lightfoot. Less so her, frankly, more them. This is the Safety Act and no bail laws. This is the new effort by the Democratic Party to have more social workers and less police officers and defund the police. All of this wrapped in to this terrible tragedy. My prayers go out to Officer Bartholomew, his family. This was at Swedish Covered Hospital, which is a mile and a half from where I live. I run by that hospital sometimes, and I think about this officer. I think about 9/11 when I think about police officers and what they do, how they serve us. I think about the firefighters and 9/11 and the police officers when they were running up those buildings, trying to help people come out of those buildings, and so many of them lost their lives. The Democratic Party what they've done to the police is really disgraceful, and they don't have the backs of the police. They make the police the villains. And this guy, as a 7-time convicted felon with a decade-long criminal history, he was arrested on an outstanding warrant for escaping electronic monitoring. Carjacked a woman at gunpoint in 2025. What is he doing on the streets? But this isn't an isolated case. There's something like 72,000 people in Cook County and in the Chicagoland area who are walking around with warrants, with outstanding warrants. So there's a reason why there's more than a murder a day in Chicago. There's a reason why Chicago is the crime capital of the world. And the blame lies not just with the perpetrators, certainly them, but with the leaders that we have here, Governor Pritzker and Mayor Johnson and these crazy left-wing anti-police Democrats.
A murder a day in Chicago. And the judge in this case somehow didn't figure that out, that maybe you keep the bad guys behind bars. And this was clearly a blaring sign of a very dangerous individual. And imagine that, 72,000 outstanding warrants just in Cook County where Chicago is. That speaks volumes, that are roaming out there. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Stan in Brooklyn, line 3. Go ahead, Stan. Your thoughts tonight.
You're talking to me? You said Brooklyn.
Yeah, did they? Where? Yeah. Oh, you know what?
Baby.
Sorry, they put it wrong there. Sorry.
Sorry.
Stan, you know what? I see Stan in Brooklyn. It was the wrong thing, wrong information. It's my favorite, Stan in Forest Hills.
Give me a break. But okay.
I know. Sorry, I know you, Stan. That's what they put. Well, we'll give them 5 lashes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Take it as it's okay.
Go ahead,
right,
Stan.
It's tragic what happened there. Of course, it's tragic and so forth. That's the bail system and so forth in Chicago, in Illinois. But I wanted to talk about the Supreme Court and the Voting Rights Act, which has been basically gutted, finished. That's by this far-right Supreme Court that has done this. And the basic decision will basically destroy many communities in this country that have minority leadership there and minority large volume. And that's why the apportionment situation in this country will destroy. Not Republicans are as guilty as Democrats in this, both of them.
Oh, and by the way, everybody's been doing it, but
I just said that.
But Stan, I did hear. But you know what's disgraceful, Stan?
Oh, no. I find. Go ahead. Go ahead.
What I was going to say is, I want to focus on the Virginia case because that's the state.
Well, I can focus on Texas. I can focus.
Right? No. I know. I'm talking about the Virginia case because that's the one today. And in that particular case,
I can talk to you about the Republican.
What do you make of Hassan? What do you make of Hassan Piker saying, let's do a revolution?
You met this guy on. He's nothing. He's not an elected official. He's nobody.
He has incredible influence.
I wouldn't give him nothing. Who is he?
You know what?
He's a friend of the idiot Mandani.
He is somebody. Because you know why? Because a lot of people listen to him. And guess what? Politicians that you like seem to be embracing using him. Chris Murphy, you're a Democrat. You seem to be defending him a lot. Chris Murphy is coddling this guy. There are a lot of guys. Ro Khanna, that guy from California, the congressman, he was on his podcast it was like a week or two ago. Knowing all these things. I mean, Stan, if somebody said death to America, Hamas did a great job essentially on October 7th and all these other things, now calling for a revolution. Do you think it's a good idea for any politician, whether it's Republican or Democrat, to be hanging out with this guy and going on his podcast? What else is new?
I know what you're saying, and I agree with you. But as far as the apportionment situation, it is basically destroying elections. There can never be competitive elections in this country anymore, from what I'm seeing. And again, Democrats are guilty as well as Republicans, both of them, both parties. Now, what can be solved in this? I don't know. But this coming election, you're more worried that the Democrats will get control and they'll go after Trump. I want to go after him, but I also want him to finish this thing with the war. But the problem is, what will happen? I would think the midterms right now are looking, at the moment, 50-50. Initially, I would have said 60-40 Democrats, but with all this apportionments going on, I think it may be closer than we think.
I do too. By the way, Stan, I actually agree with you. I thought it looked better for them. Exactly. Exactly. Surprise. It's Friday.
No, I think it's still up in, I think the Democrats still have a good shot at taking the House. The Senate, I've said this before, I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. It might be close, but I don't think so. And the Iranian thing will also determine it and so forth, because this half-assed president, it talks too much.
What do you mean half-assed? You know what? This president, his half-ass has had a lot more guts than the ones who've had full asses that make an ass of themselves, Stan. I mean, you have got to be kidding me. You were making excuse after excuse, and then finally when the whole world realized that, Joe Biden was in a coma, would you want him right now? If Iran was on the cusp of a nuclear weapon, which I 100% believe they were and 100% believe they would use, and darn right you wouldn't. So, you can call him half-assed, but he's got a lot more courage in his pinky than a number of these others that we have seen of late. And that says a lot. Stan, thank you. Have a good weekend. We love you. It's always good to hear from you, my friend. Have a good one. And you guys, we will continue after the break, 1-800-848-9222. But first, support our heroes.
The Rita Cosby Show presents Support Our Heroes.
And everybody, this is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Support Our Heroes segment with a very powerful story from Brainerd, Minnesota, where the VFW and Daughters of the American Revolution hosted its 5th annual Vietnam Veterans Day celebration. One Vietnam veteran in attendance and recognized for his service was veteran Buford Johnson. He served as an advisor to the Vietnamese combat unit in Vietnam's Central Highlands and often came under extreme enemy fire. Upon sharing the stories of the war effort, he recounted how a severely wounded soldier survived after he and the helicopter pilot heroically made a landing to rescue the soldier and fly him to safety. When he was asked how he felt about his wartime experience, he responded, "It gave me a better understanding of human nature." And of course, we are so thankful to our great heroic Vietnam veterans. We love you. We appreciate you. Welcome home to you and your great families. And everybody, help America to never, ever forget. Donate just $11 a month to the absolutely incredible and very impactful Tunnel to Towers Foundation. They are the best and do so much for our veterans and for their families. Be sure to check them out at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
Get ready Staten Island. It's time to celebrate 5 years of Ferry Hawks baseball. Come out to the ballpark this week as the Ferry Hawks welcome in the Charleston Dirty Birds May 5th through the 10th. Grab the kids and come on out. We kick it off on Tuesday, May 5th with Cinco de Baseball with $5 tickets and $5 food and beverage specials. And we end the week as we celebrate all moms on Mother's Day. Moms get in free. Visit ferryhawks.com now to lock in your seats.